Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Meteorologist Jaret Lansford here, and let's take a look at our commute. We're starting things off with a few problems that we're seeing on our roadways. A lot of roads are moving along pretty well, but we do have a couple of issues that I want to make sure I first alert you to, including some delays that are showing up and getting a little on the heavy side as you're going on Dodge. You're looking at the approach to 90th in the coming toward the camera being eastbound. You can see how many vehicles are on that stretch. It is getting very slow through that stretch. No confirmation at this point on exactly what is happening. There may be a stalled vehicle just out of the sight line of this camera. Unfortunately, can't confirm that for you, but that is something I am watching. So be aware that you're coming across some pretty hefty delays on eastbound Dodge. Let me show you what the map looks like as you're heading through this stretch. This is also an area where you are looking at some sun glare impacts as well. That is going to be something that is a running theme for the morning between the bright sun that's in place and that fairly fresh snow that's on the ground as well. Here's some of the speeds as you're heading through that stretch of Dodge. Kind of averaging about 25 to 30 miles per hour with those delays heading back towards 680. So watch for that in the early going. Did have a second stall just a little bit ago on Maple, just east of 680, but I can report that has cleared up. So good news there. Those delays that you see there right near 680 should start to improve pretty quickly. Do have a new crash that has come in. Let's go to Pacific just past 120th. This is one that's just been coming in. Right about at the 119th intersection is where you have that one. And I believe eastbound is what we're looking at with that one. So watch for some impacts as you head eastbound there on Pacific. Again, that's at 119th. Make that graphic real quick here. If you're wondering about road conditions, by the way, those are in fairly good shape. It's never a bad idea when you're in the days after a snowstorm to use a little extra caution when you're going onto ramps and in some of the neighborhoods. But I can tell you a lot of our main roads are pretty clear, so that's not really too much of a concern this morning. But we do have a couple of issues not tied to that you do need to watch for, and it does include that crash that has come in there on eastbound Pacific. I'll give you the overall view of the map. And starting to get some delays showing up on the JFK, that particularly on the Gilmore Bridge. If you're going northbound, you're approaching Q. Things are really slowing down, as they do tend to do at this point in the morning. Those delays stretch back to about the Chandler area, so watch for that in that stretch. Also did notice some delays showing up on eastbound Dodge right around 168th. Again, not surprised at all to see that with heavy traffic usually in place around this point in the morning, and also this being another spot that flares up on sun glare mornings. So no shock that we are seeing some issues there. Just be ready for it to be quite slow. 144th with some delays as you're going toward I-80, both directions, experiencing that. And a little slow on 370 westbound as you get near I-80. I think we will pop up that camera again at 90th and Dodge, looking to the east. Watch some of that traffic that's trying to make its way into that area at 90th. And we'll just watch this kind of unfold for a little bit. I'll jump back in if we do get any reports of any new issues. You've been watching Dodge as you're approaching 90th, and we've had some pretty healthy traffic that's been in place here. Did have a brief report that there may have been a stalled vehicle, something I will be watching closely for with the cold temperatures this morning. Have not confirmed whether that is indeed the case, but it is certainly slow as you're heading through this stretch back from 680 to 90th. I do want to check out another area. This is a lot further to the south and west, where there's a report we may have traffic lights malfunctioning at 192nd and Q. So I'm going to head into that area on the map. We'll see if things are looking slow around that area. Again, that's 192nd and Q. That may have an issue with our traffic lights. Does definitely look slow in this area, so that is certainly a possibility. Watch this stretch. If indeed those lights are flashing and we get that confirmed, we'll forward that. But if you come across that intersection and that is the case, you want to treat that as an all-way stop and just be prepared for some delays as people navigate that situation. Checking a couple of other spots where we've had some delays. There's what it looks like on Maple. Still some slowing as you're right near 680. Earlier had a stalled vehicle. That stall has cleared, but do be prepared for some slowdowns possible there. A little slow both directions, 370. Westbound is heavy traffic. Eastbound is likely traffic and sun glare. Any of these kind of mornings, this is a spot that frequently flares up with delays as you're heading toward I-80 with that limited visibility. Combination of that bright sunshine and the snow that's on the ground likely going to make that a factor for here. Along Dodge, we've been seeing that as an issue near 168th. And there's what it looks like. Those delays now stretch from about 168th back to 192nd. So that is a spot where you're certainly going to want to be prepared for some limited visibility and things to be moving quite slowly. And a lot of times I-80 near 84th does tend to slow down. That's holding up in okay shape right now, but don't be surprised if you do come across some delays there. Did have a crash earlier eastbound Pacific that just passed 120th. Watch for that being a spot where things could slow down right now. It looks like that's holding up in okay shape, but again, that being a spot where we have that added crash means there could be some impacts to the traffic flow there. Let's check in on 144th and Dodge, our camera there. And moving in okay shape. Is slowing down a little bit, but more of our delays are further to the west than this. Note the road conditions. They are looking pretty good on both 144th and on Dodge, so I don't think you really need to be too concerned about that as you're heading out and about. Again, a little extra caution in the neighborhood is never a bad idea, but we don't have any widespread problems at all this morning. I think we have a view of the JFK. Let's take a look at where that stands. This is as you're approaching I-80, and you can see it is definitely slowing down in this area as you get toward that ramp. Be ready for that in the early going. Those backups do not seem to be spreading too far down the JFK. Should have a view of that here that I can take as far as the map goes. There we go. Okay, so we have seen that start to spread a little bit now at this point. So anywhere from back down past the Q Street area, you are looking at some delay. So be ready for that. There's the JFK, and you can see some slightly sluggish traffic back to Cornhusker. Shock, shock, surprise, surprise. I-80 eastbound is slowing down as you're getting your 84th. As I was just telling you, a lot of times we get these mornings where we have that sun glare in place. It can really get difficult to see, and that can lead to things slowing down as you're going on a lot of these eastbound roads. That's one of the telltale signs that we're having issues with the visibility, is if you start seeing slowdowns showing up on the map around 84th on I-80 eastbound, Dodge around 168th, like we have right there, and then 370 as you're approaching I-80. So as you're out and about this morning, you want to just be ready for things to be a little difficult to see. You still have that snow fairly fresh on the ground, so that could also kind of contribute to the visibility concerns that you may have as you're heading out and about. It's not a massive problem, but certainly it is having an impact, as you can tell there on the map with some of those delays. I think we can one more time take a look around the metro, see if we've got any other issues that are popping up. Just mentioned some of those flare-ups from sun glare. Blair High Road, a little slow as you're going from I-680 back towards State Street eastbound, with some delays showing up there. We aren't seeing too much in the way of big problems here this morning, but just kind of some nagging things that we've been experiencing through the morning, such as the delays on Dodge as you get between about 90th and 680. And you can see how heavy the traffic is in that area. So I think given that, we'll kind of wrap up the road portion of this. One thing I do want to point out this morning, though, not related to what I've been talking about here with our roads. I'm going to go to try to bring up Epley. There's a reason I'm doing this. Let's see if I can get the source going here. That's not what I wanted to do. Hold on here. Here we go. This is what I wanted to do. Okay, so you're looking right now at the Epley departure board. This is at flyoma.com. You just go to the arrivals and departures. And I wanted to point this out because we have a major winter storm happening in the northeast, and it is having quite the effect on flights not only to New England. Certainly it is. You can see into the northeast, flights canceled to LaGuardia. You've got some delays in a couple of other spots. Flight cancellation to Indianapolis, though, as well. And there's a ripple effect starting to happen. Houston, a 4-hour delay for a flight heading there. You've got Minneapolis with a 3.5-hour delay. So if you are planning to fly out this morning, you're definitely going to want to make sure you're double checking that things are still as they were planned, and be prepared for some impacts as a result of what we've got going on there in the Northeast. I think with that, we'll wrap things up for today. Appreciate you joining in for this live stream. I'll be live here in just about 5 minutes on First Alert 6 with another check of how things are going with our morning drive. Have a great Monday. Stay warm. It's quite cold out there, and enjoy your first day of the work week.